And we are live, yes, I'm seeing, but I'll go doing the usual procedure here, yes, and I'm not seeing you there, so I feel at ease doing so, even more. And yes, I'm done doing that. And I'm still not seeing you, but I will start right away. When you arrive, you will see. Good evening. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Julio Barroco, as you can see, and I will talk about purposeful nurturing. In these Facebook Lives, I try to bring several different perspectives, layers, points of view onto considering our life purpose, into our deep diving, if you like, addressing those very same issues that can propel the truthful, creative, benevolent expression of ourselves, which is the intention, the purpose of these lives. The purpose of these lives is really to help you getting ever more near that ideal of living in purpose, which is the ideal of us living our most authentic expression we may have inside ourselves. Like considering the perspective of Michelangelo, the sculptor, which stated that he didn't make a statue, he simply unleashed from the marble, from the stone, the statue already inside of it. And that is somewhat a perspective we are trying to get here. The perspective of revealing and co-creating at the same time, because the Michelangelo and every sculptor still has to pick the tools of the trade and to make the sculpture emanate from that block of marble or of stone. And so that's our own role here. We really need to try to look at ourselves and our possibilities somewhat in the same sense of a sculpture, with the added difficulty that we can't see potential, we can't see ability, we can't see those very same things that make us human and that really are the very best that we can bring forth. Because without those, we are nothing more than just pounds of flesh. Or like other people said, we are really angels encapsulated onto prisons of flesh. And that's our take. Our goal, at least my invitation to you, is that we evermore must strive to be able to unleash that very marvel that we are set on this pound of flesh. And as such, of course, it is of utmost necessity for us to really understand how can we nurture our own purpose and how can we do so in others. How can we help our sons, our daughters, our friends, all sorts of relatives, even fathers if possible. How can we help us and each other unleashing that purposeful, authentical, blissful potential? Like Joseph Campbell said, his very blunt advice was follow your bliss. But then the question arises, Mr. Campbell, but how can we do it? How can we do it in this world and with that conditions, or not having those needed conditions, and with these people around me, or not having that needed type of this and that sort of role model or figure or teacher or whatever that I need to unleash my very best self. So how can we do it? So first and foremost, I will invite you to put your questions right here. What do you really feel it's the most needed nurturing right this moment for your life purpose to blossom? In every way it may blossom at this time. Maybe you finding your life purpose or getting ever more near the expression that you feel is most needed right now from you, from your best self. What is the major need you feel in your life purpose right this time? You can put it on the comments. I will gladly answer it, or comments if I don't know the answer, taking it in a direction that can bring that satisfaction of the need much closer. And the first and foremost mindset, I believe it's crucial in considering purposeful needs. Its ability, of course, to acknowledge the necessity as it is to the utmost of our ability to do so, really being truthful, authentic, and even brave. Yes, bravery, courage is very much needed most of the times, because most of the times we are scared. We can be scared in acknowledging reality as it is, because sometimes we have the sense that, oh my God, it's so much apart the result we intend to have that I don't even know how to begin. Or we may find, oh my God, doesn't make any difference right this moment to acknowledge it, because it can help it. I can't make anything to resolve the issue, so I'm only putting myself at stress or making myself feel miserable because I don't have this and that and the resources and the opportunities. But I will, at the same time, notwithstanding that, I will invite you to really considering putting one thing, no matter what size or importance it may be, one thing that you feel that really can make a difference in your path right now. Just one thing. Because it really makes all the difference, putting the awareness one step further and allowing ourselves to receive the blessing of the universe in acknowledging that need and putting yourselves in position to take the next step forward. And the next step forward is, in my perspective, a very much needed step of converting the need, especially if it's put into a problem type of formulation, putting the need into an objective or an intent. If you don't feel the objective as such is the most appropriate thing, because sometimes it isn't, think about an intent. What positive look forward to intent is embedded in that need? What intent is embedded in that need? For instance, let me say, oh, Julio, I really need to have more time to devote to the project A that I have right this moment, because I am not having enough time to dealing with the issue. So the first and foremost is to understand the definition of really what's happening. It's really lack of time. It can be, for sure, but it can also be really the lack or the excess of other ingredients or circumstances, if you prefer, that really are set on stage to make that experience interpreted as lack of time to happen. For instance, you can, in fact, have the experience of having lack of time, but encircling that definition of need, or in this expression, lack of time points to the problem. If you convert it to the solution, putting it as I want to have more time, then of course we can go forward and ask, okay, what uses do I make with my time, and how can I release the amount of time that I need? And then I can go forward, and then I can revise those uses of time. For instance, making a very known coaching exercise, like please jot down, please record all your time uses in a set time frame, like a day or like a week. Please jot down those, and then we can revise those. And how do you use your time? Please be specific to the best of your ability. Please take pen and pencil, carry those with you in your pockets, small sheet of paper, the pen, and you record your uses of time. And then you do so, and you do so, and you do so, and then, okay, you finish, you have the block of time. And then you look at those uses, and then you may get to the conclusion that, oh, well, I have many uses of time that really didn't serve the purposeful need that I intend to do. Maybe I need to release time from low purpose priorities and attributing those to high purpose priorities. And then I can find, oh, I lose too much time going to Facebook or other social media, reading email. I can waste too much time bouncing around between tasks because I tend to lose my focus. I'm in an environment that pushes me to different directions many times. I'm just giving examples of how it can happen. And so I understand that, okay, what can I do now? What can I do to deal with these things? Okay, can I set times to go to social media and checking those and emails? Can I get some sort of praxis in order to deal with those necessities? Can I block them? Or can I make some praxis decision, like I'm going to make this block of work without interruptions, and then I will go towards checking Facebook and towards checking email, etc., etc. Wait a minute, but why should I do this? What difference does it make? Well, and then you can have your coach, or then you can have yourself. You can start to study the impacts of interrupting or not interrupting. And you can read some articles from neuroscientists and psychologists and productivity experts and so on and so on. They say that when we slash into pieces our times with multiple priorities, we lose our focus and the needed energy into the deep diving practice in order to get it back. It's much more harder. And I'm saying your comment, Carlos, the hole is looking very seriously at you. Yes, she is, because she did the hole, the wisdom symbol, she doesn't like to lose time. She likes to be reflective. She likes to look at things from a broader perspective. That's the thing. And thank you for your comment. And thank you for your comment also, João Pedro. And yes, for sure, we can feel the get the feeling, the chill, oh my god, these learnings that I'm having about nurturing my purpose, this thing will demand some changes that I really, I would prefer not to make in my life, because I would have to piss that person setting some limits, or I would have to stop doing some things altogether. Maybe I should have to acknowledge that I have some vices and some faults around the way I deal with my time that make me uncomfortable, because maybe, just maybe, those faults jeopardize the self-image that I have. And then I see myself, Julio, as so driven and so focused and so this and so that, and maybe, just maybe, my day records shows otherwise. Maybe I'm putting myself into places with my energy, with my time, with my attention, that really don't make me so much of time scarcity mode, so to speak, puts me instead in wasting time mode too many times, maybe along my day, along my week, and as such, I may not like the findings I have in that sense. Or yes, I will have a lot of priorities. I have a lot of people calling me all the time, pushing me. One pushes this arm, another pushes another one, another pushes a leg, and then I'm completely out of balance. And then I can't find a way to focus myself and to make a deep dive onto the things I need to take care. And then I still have the time, but for instance, at the end of the day, I'm so much pulled from different sizes that I don't have the peace of mind, the internal fortitude and unity in my energies to have the spirit to put it on a very much needed purposeful priority. And as such, I feel that I'm not being nurtured in that very same side of my unblossoming as a purposeful, intended person as such. So, this is the first steps, really, the steps of acknowledging necessity, converting necessity from problem to goal, and then, of course, making the decision of setting into action repeated, deliberate practice, or even ideally an habit that can sustain me day in, day out, putting the very best of my effort, going towards that solution. And yes, because this is the immersive type of effort is very much needed when we consider cutting, breaking patterns that don't work. For pattern breaking, the retreats, the workshops, the concentrated effort is a must. They are incredible. But for the building long-term sustainment, decisions in our life, workshops, retreats, and other type of one-off human personal development offers don't cut it. They are not enough, and they are more than not enough. They divide our energy, and they make us into self-tricking modes, in us thinking that is something wrong with us because we do a lot of things into the self-development space and nothing seems to work. No. The thing is, those things are for shutdown, moments of shutdown, and for moments of seed implementation. into what really works, but then we must do the gardening. We must do the gardening. Purposeful nurturing is about gardening, is about tender your garden. Go to your trees, to your peaches, your apples, or your carrots, your apricot, whatever metaphor you want to like, whatever are the ingredients of your life purpose, whatever are the projects you must nurture, your dreams, your goals, your desires, your interests, your passions, and those combinations of those that really make the difference in your path, for sure. And as such, then you understand what really takes to put yourself in the place which is the place of luck. The place of luck is the place of continued practice, continued attention, continued go for it, whatever way it may be. So of course, the habit implementation is of utmost importance. Of course, if the project or the thing is shorter, well, you still need to have a practice. In my perspective, if you still need to have a practice of having a somewhat reserved block of time, energy, attention, and other resources in order for that to happen or to get momentum, because of course we can feel that what we need to achieve really needs several layers, several steps, and so we need to get momentum going. And for us to get momentum going, we start with having things that are in our ability to really sustain as an habit, and as such we keep the engine moving with small acts of realization, of practice, to the best of our ability. And then of course we can change, we can upgrade those gestures, we can reserve more time, we can reserve more energy, more thoughtfulness, more skill, more complexity, following our own development, our own blossoming, our own process, our own way of walking, of going towards that which we need, that very thing that we want to create, that very thing that we want to nurture to begin with if needed. Because if we don't have the appropriate soil for the gardening, okay, but what can we do? How can we make the soil better? What is needed for that to happen? Is it to make it more compost? Is it to make the soil more fertile? Which it means that I need to have more energy to sustain my purpose. So I think it's a problem of time, but maybe is a problem of complexity also, in many competing priorities in my day. Or is really a matter of sleep, because I sleep poorly and I need to protect my sleep better. Or I'm not taking breaks in my work day. And maybe, just maybe, if I make some breaks and I will hydrate myself, and breathe a little better, a little deeper, and catch my attention onto it, and without picking the phone, or just picking the phone in the last minutes of having that, maybe, just maybe, that can make all the difference in my days, because I'll get multiple spots, milestones for renewal, and then those are enough to make my day balanced and more stronger in terms of energy. Or do I need some sort of new nutrient intake? I don't know. But all those are possibilities. And of course, and this is a must, I will stress it all the way, every single time. We must look at the full web, at the full perspective possible in a way that makes sense to us, to all the factors, all the elements, relationships, connections, process between the things that we have in our life, the things, the dynamics, the flux between the different things, the different experiences, the different states, internal states, our own internal rhythm, personal rhythm, the way our energy patterns move along the day. And I speak about the book When from Mr. Daniel Pink, and I believe it's right over there. Yes, it's right beside me. Those make all the difference. Those make all the difference, and those make us really able to considering ever more how can we put ourselves in a place of luck, in a place of having luck and blessings coming towards us. And for sure, if we are onto the more advanced purposeful nurturing, onto the broader perspective, the broader scale of our efforts, then we can start to combine perspectives that are really beyond our own person. And then we can consider things like, for instance, combining tools of human development, of personal development, for our advantage and for seeing behind the stones and behind the corners and checking that angles of perspective. And you can, for instance, combine the Maslow hierarchy of needs with the purposeful ladder that I use, for instance, because then you consider the different type of needs from Maslow, and then we can use those, and then we can put the purpose ladder and we see the different levels of purpose, for instance, and then depending on the situation, the project that you have, the dream or the intent, the goal, we can combine those, and then can we think, okay, this project activates the dimensions of purpose in personal terms, community terms, and even society terms. Okay, what type of needs do they cherish? Do they cherish the physiological needs? And in what way do they cherish the security needs or the safety needs? And the esteem needs, the belonging needs, and the love needs, and the self-actualization needs, and the self-transcendence needs. And those are the different levels. And then, if we think that we have something that is more complex, and we need to get our engines going, to make some sort of heating before the major practice, more freely, if you prefer, then you can use some tool. Or you can use the tool just by itself as the main dish, so to speak, to revise the ingredients on your plate, on your project, on whatever you want to create. And so that's the main thing. We shouldn't just set ourselves into cruise mode, into living our purpose. We can and we must get different perspectives, different points of view, and then we can get more complex when we go forward, when the impetus already is catching on. And as such, we will have much more opportunities to deal with whatever is coming our way. And things will come our way ever more, the more energy, attention, and effort we put onto it. One thing that happens in this space of the personal development and self-help is that we tend to get too much or somewhat simplistic, although fundamentally right in terms of principles. The things are not subject to those multi-level type of perspective, because that's not still not many not so much mainstream, not so easy to do so, at least for sure. Because, for instance, if you have the idea of having a project that really makes a difference in society for the better, and if it's a project that really intends to have some sort of a spatial social impact, in the before COVID-19, you could have some sort of approach, but now in the COVID-19 and post-COVID-19 world, we are being challenged in considering how will the society and all those structures, including economy, finance, politics, and whatever, how those and the movement of those will take hold into the context of which we will implement our project, for instance. And that can make all the difference. And that is why now is even more clear why we need a multi-level, multi-layered, multi-perspective, purposeful approach, including from our needs. My dear friends, if you don't have any question, if you don't have any more comments behind the whole comment, yes, she's very serious, Carlos, today. I will have my way. Please send me a question if you like, make a comment, send me an email if you need to julio@juliobarroco.com, and I will answer your question to the very best of my ability. Yes, I the last couple of days I had some private issues to deal with. I wasn't able to make these lives, but now I'm getting I'm here again, and so please have your best, and I will consider it to the very best of my ability, for sure. So thank you so much one more time. Please enjoy a very nice evening. Take care. Tomorrow, before we go, tomorrow I will talk about the Portuguese mythos. The Portuguese mythos is the title of tomorrow's live, and I will address our mythos, and I will address them in a very, I believe, useful way for you, not in a theoretical, going towards the sky type of perspective. I will talk about it in the way of the specific contribution of that very same mythos for you, even if you're not Portuguese. And I will make a case around the importance of us considering these type of narratives for the sake of our own personal life purpose. As such, my dear friends, that's the theme of tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care.